everyone, and welcome back to Talk Wordy, my hub for all of the words that I read, write, or otherwise want to yap about. Today, I have a very, very special author guest on the pod. She's the author of the YA romance I Wish You Would, and her sophomore novel, I'm Gonna Get You Back, releases May 19th. Please welcome Eva De Lauriers.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
My little
I know, I clapped with you. I was right there.
I have been so excited about this one. Fun fact, at the time that we're recording this, we're at LoveLitCon, and originally, homegirl, you were not on my schedule. You were not, I don't want to say that you weren't on my radar, but originally I had a sponsor helping me kind of schedule interviews, and I just didn't have you on my list. And I was like, I'm going to go be super obnoxious at our table to make up for it. But then there was an author mixer the first night, and our friend Kayla kind of introduced us, and I don't know, I've just been super vibing with you ever since. So I was like, yes, what are the chances I can squeeze you in at this time? So
I just knew it would work out. When I didn't get on your original roster, I was like, I don't know, I just have a feeling this is going to work.
Yes.
And you're so lovely that it did.
You're so sweet. Okay, so what I like to do with my guests to kind of warm up, normally when we have like longer amounts of time to talk about it on the episode, I love to do a full rundown of what we're reading, watching, listening to. So to kind of condense that, do you have any current hyperfixations that we absolutely need to talk about in the pop culture world?
Oh gosh, I hate to be basic, but Heated Rivalry is that girl. I mean, I'm sorry. It's just what is happening in the culture. It's happening in my heart. It's happening. So that's the one that is top of mind. And I literally can't think of anything else.
Yeah. I was telling someone else, like, it's not even just that, like, the source material is really good. It's the fact that in the fandom, there has yet to be a bad TikTok edit.
That is very true. That is very true. And I have not known one person who hasn't kind of said, this has never happened to me before. Like, I've never been taken over by, like, material like this before in a way, because it's captured new people who have never been like obsessive in fandom, and that's been really, really fun to see.
It's also really fun to see as far as like, it's obviously like LGBTQ media, and I feel like there hasn't been a lot of that in like such a mainstream way.
No.
And it is pulling in so many like audience demographics that I don't think it was expecting to.
Totally.
And honestly, I feel like a lot of that does contribute to the fact that it is a Canadian production. It's not American media.
1,000%. I could go on and on about this, honestly. Like, this is the reason Degrassi had us in a chokehold in middle school, because Canadian media, I am telling you, there is something different about the way that they approach art and artistic expression. It's free, it's loose, it's open. It's just like less puritanical than American culture. And I love that about it. So I feel like with Heated Rivalry, especially the show, it's such a testament to a creative and many creatives being so excellent at what they do and having the freedom within which to do it. And that's, I think, why it's resonating so much, because the source material is excellent, but it's also elevated by the show.
Yes, absolutely. It is definitely like one of the better adaptations in a long, long time, especially for TV. I feel like TV is almost harder because you make so much room for error with all the continuous episodes.
Yes.
Whereas I feel like they just really nailed it. And they were able to like combine other books as like the B plot in a way with
it was
the
so
separate
clever.
It was so good.
People at the top of their game. There's nothing better.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyways, I could talk about Heated Rivalry for a long time, so I'm going to force myself to move on. I do want to talk about, first off, the low-hanging fruit of the fact that your book titles are also Taylor Swift song titles.
Yes.
I take it you're a Swiftie.
Definitely.
Do you have a favorite album? And also, what tracks do you like claim as your own, or some are like just your favorites?
What a great question. My favorite is Evermore. I'm an Evermore girl. I am just like very moody and sad inside. But also with like these sparkly pop songs too that are within it. I just think it's so poetic and beautiful. But I also really love Midnights. I have to say, it's one of those albums that I think it's been a slow burn, and not a lot of the, general Swifties, it's not usually their favorite. But of her recent albums, it's one of my favorites. I just think it has a lot of, it mixes so well the like deep like sadness that she holds as an artist and that she really taps into so beautifully with like the bop. So like Maroon is like my favorite song from that album because it just hits so hard. It was one of my anchor songs when I was writing I'm Gonna Get You Back, actually, because it's so full of longing and heartache, but also this like hopeful wistfulness around missing that person in a way that doesn't just hurt. It's just so good. And I'm always like trying to find like the juiciness in my work. And I think that's why I'm such a Swiftie, because she does that so excellently so often.
Wow, that was so well articulated. I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah, so I love Maroon. I think that's an unsung hero of a song.
Yeah, it's really good. Midnight's, again, kind of like what you were saying, it was a slow burn.
Yeah.
I was going to say it took a minute to age for me because, again, like I think just commercially, like it was pop. It was her 4th album of the year Grammy, and there was so much like discourse about, oh, like, did it really deserve the Grammy, blah, blah, blah. And I think the more time that passes, it's like, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely it did, because it's one of those albums where it's like it sounds commercial, but it holds so much depth.
Yes, exactly. And I think that's what she does so well. And somebody who can like sneak into the cracks and the nuances of media and with what they're doing at a really high level is so impressive to me. And I think it taps into so much of what we yearn for as consumers. And it's why like the more, I don't know, shallow works, or when books and work and music don't resonate with us as well, it's usually because they're not like getting in there. And she does that so well. So.
Yeah. It's also really refreshing to see an Evermore stan.
Oh yeah, we're rare, but we're mighty.
Yeah, it was rare. I was there.
Exactly.
Which also Taylor Swift adjacent, I have to know, are there any Taylor Swift song titles that you think would make really good book titles as well?
Ooh. That's such a great question. I feel like I've used my favorites so far.
Yeah.
But gosh, I'm like blanking. You know when somebody's like, what's your favorite movie? And you're like, I've never seen a movie.
Exactly.
That's what's happening to me right now. I think Look What You Made Me Do would be really fun. I think that is a book, though.
I know
think
it's
somebody...
Is it a TV show?
Yeah.
Maybe? Okay, I feel like I've seen it somewhere in the media. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fun one. A lot of hers are so evocative of the song itself that it's really hard to imagine pulling it and putting it on a different story. That's also part of my like block here, but that's all I can think of.
Yeah. I have a project that's going on submission, I think next month. I'm going to put it out there in the universe.
Yes.
But for a long time, because I could not think of a title.
Titles are hard.
I actually used Dancing with Our Hands Tied as the working title. And also that song deserves her flowers. It deserves more love.
Yes. I completely agree with you there.
It's so good. And honestly, like it used to be a skip for me on Reputation. And then one of my college friends, she would constantly play it while like getting ready for a night out, while straightening her hair and just blasting through the apartment. And I'm just like, you were right about that song all along, and I didn't give you credit for it.
I love that. Yeah,
major
Reputation
props.
is also just high up there for me as well. That one, did you ever see the Reputation Stadium tour before they took it off of Netflix?
Yes, I did. Especially because it was it was filmed in the Dallas show.
Yeah, okay.
And so as like a local Texan and I live in Dallas, I was like, I need this immediately injected into my veins.
It's so good. What made me think of it is Dancing with Our Hands Tied. The edit of
version.
that in that stadium tour. Oh my God, it was so beautiful. Anyway.
Okay. Anyways, again, heated rivalry, Taylor Swift. I feel like we could end up talking about a slew of different things for a long time.
Yes.
But I want to focus a little bit on your book. So obviously, I Wish You Would. I'm really trying hard not to actually sing the song into the mic right now.
Totally.
For our listeners that may not be familiar with you or your books, tell us a little bit about I Wish You Would.
Sure. So I Wish You Would is a YA contemporary romance. It is about two best friends, Ethan and Natalia, who are so stunningly portrayed on the cover.
It's a beautiful cover.
I'm obsessed with it. Who haven't spoken to each other since things escalated between them at prom. And they are forced to reunite, though, at the Senior Sunrise overnight event that kicks off their senior year. And at this event, they, along with the rest of their class, have to write letters to themselves answering the question what they would do if they were braver. And Natalia is a little bit too honest with what she puts in her letter, and she panics. And in her attempt to retrieve her letter, she accidentally lets out the letters of the entire class. So they go missing, scattering across the beach, and she and Ethan have to team up to find them before any of their secrets or confessions or true feelings get out.
I just need to take a moment. I remember I found your book, I think maybe like 2 weeks after it released. It was in a Books A Million. Of course, like I walked by the cover and I was like, oh my God, so pretty. Then I was like, Taylor Swift song, immediately turned over the back cover.
Love this.
I genuinely, it's been so long since I've read a book about high schoolers. I don't know why. I think it's just like my recent fixation on new adult. But this book was so darling. As a YA author, what about this age range in particular made you want to intentionally pursue a creative project in the genre?
I really love young adult as an age category for a myriad of reasons. I think it is a fantastic playground to write about and dig into high octane emotion, really intense like milestones that are really evergreen and universal. With every adult can remember what it was like to be a teenager, and that crosses cultures, that crosses a lot of divides. And so there's something really fun and rich in the age category in and of itself, in addition to like the themes you can explore, which are a lot of the themes that I love to explore in my writing. Coming of age stuff, identity, where you fit, lots of firsts and fears. And additionally, I was a child and family therapist for a few years as a social worker, and I worked with children and adolescents who were really struggling. And in working with them, I really gained so much respect for the teen experience in and of itself, and how so often as a society and a culture, we're trying to push our teens to the next level. We kind of ignore them after they hit those teen years and then wait for them to be adults. And the adolescent time period is so rich and so true and real right now. It's very present. And by taking my characters seriously, I'm taking those teens and teen readers seriously. And that just feels really important to me. I feel like I'm writing the books that I wish I had as an adolescent. I had a pretty tumultuous adolescence. And so that's constantly what I'm trying and like striving for. And so it's just like a really rich and beautiful time. And it's always what the story demands. That's the other kind of creative piece. If a story idea comes to me, I'm always trying to figure out, they always come as characters first. And these characters came loud and clear as 17-year-old best friends, and telling their story and following their story meant that it had to be set in this specific age category and time, because there are plenty of adult novels that have teen protagonists, but the themes are more adult.
Yeah.
But it's very important to me to write to and for teens as much as it is. I hope, it reaches a crossover adult audience as well, and accesses the teens in all of us, because I think that that's also really rich and important too. And there's a lot of like inner healing a lot of adults need from that time as well. So
definitely. Yeah. If you could go back to your high school self, if you were on this like senior sunrise trip, what do you think that high school you would put on your own letter?
Nobody's ever asked me that before. What a great question. Oh my gosh. So all the letters start with "if I were braver." And when I was 17, if I were braver, I would have been a writer. I would have wished that I had written. I would have written earlier. I would have pursued writing in college. I mean, I loved that I pursued psychology and social work. It really helps me understand humans, and I think it really enriches my characters. And so I don't feel like any pursuit is wasted, and I certainly don't feel that way about my own education and my history. But I wish I had been more confident in myself and in what was trying to come out of me creatively. And it really was telling these like angsty stories. I'm a millennial, so like I was obsessed with like Dawson's Creek, and I was obsessed with like One Tree Hill, and all of these shows that were on at the time that were about teens, and they were celebrating like these like angsty teens, and I wanted to do that, and I didn't know how, and I wish that I had seen that in myself and let that blossom in me a little bit earlier in my life.
Yeah. Oh, I loved that answer.
Thank you.
Okay, so kind of thinking about had you have dared to be a writer, thinking about the initial stages of your writing career, looking back, What advice would you give like baby author Ava? And what advice would you give to any other baby authors out there?
Read, 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 because that is your best education. I mean, and right. It's so important to do both, that to know what you're doing. You can't, or rather, it's really difficult to pursue a genre that you're not familiar with. If you don't know, you can't break the rules of something without understanding what the rules are. You learn those rules best by reading, and then you learn the craft best by writing. And it's the oldest advice in the book, but it's because it's the most effective and the most true. And I think I didn't learn that until I met my CP, my critique partner. And I'm so grateful I met her so early in my journey, because she was somebody who just pushed me to write. And it doesn't matter if it comes out ugly. It doesn't matter if you don't know story structure. If, just write what's coming out of you, and you learn those things and you learn the form as you go. So always keep reading, always keep writing.
I love that. Okay, so I'm going to get you back. Talks a lot about the importance of legacy. When it comes to your writing, what do you want readers and observers to remember most about your writing at the end of the day?
I want every reader, I hope that they walk away feeling seen on some level, in some way. I want it to feel, that's why I write such a wide cast of characters. It's why I write such deeply feeling people. Sometimes that can be a little alienating for a reader who isn't necessarily interested in like a deep angsty story, or kind of going into that really vulnerable place, or getting into books that kind of get under your skin. That's kind of my goal, because I want the reader to feel something. And I want them, my hope is, my lofty goal is that they walk away feeling like she really understood this about me, even if it's not the main characters. It's why I try to include a breadth of diverse characters in my work. It's really important to me. I feel a responsibility as a kidlit writer to represent the world that teens live in, and that they feel like they're represented in some way, shape, or form to the best of my ability.
Yeah. Okay, and then last but certainly not least, you also have a podcast.
I do.
Called Right Where It Hurts. Also, love a good pun.
Thank you.
About the mental health impacts and overall heart punch of writing and publishing at all stages. As an author on Sub, I will be streaming this triple platinum in my car on the way home.
Fantastic.
What for you was the hardest stage of your publishing journey, and what words of encouragement would you offer a listener in those same shoes?
The one that was hardest that comes to mind immediately is after my second book didn't sell. So my journey was pretty quick in the querying way. I got an agent really quickly, and then we went on Sub with that first book. That book languished on Sub for a year. And I was also pregnant with my second son at the time. And so there was just like a lot going on in my life. And I was writing another book. And when that first book didn't sell, I felt really confident about the next one though. So when I parted ways with that agent, and I queried again, I was lucky enough again to get to sign on to with my current agent very quickly. And that was like my first real big edit. And she was such a cool, like, very effective agent, and I was so excited. I thought, okay, this one's it. And then that one didn't sell either, and it was in the heartbreaking way of editors being so kind and generous with their time to respond to my submission, saying things like, "We love the voice, but it's not quite there. The story isn't ready. We don't know what to do with this book. She's really talented, but." And that is so hard to hear because I was so close, but so far. And I can look back on it now, several years later, and say, okay, I wasn't ready. That book wasn't ready. And I really appreciate those editors, like, reflecting that back to me and my agent, and us being able to make a strategic move around, let's pull this then from Sub and take a breath and figure out what to do next. So like 2 weeks after that happened, in the midst of that happening, I was heartbroken.
Yeah.
It was like the worst breakup you can imagine. Kind of, I was in my bed with a bottle of Sauvignon Blanc, blasting Evermore, the song, to take it back there, over and over. Like, if we're talking about, like, how dramatic can I be? It was that dramatic. Yeah. Weeping. I couldn't believe that it didn't happen. I wanted it so badly. And then 2 weeks later, I came up with the idea for I Wish You Would. A month later, I had chapters. I sent it off to my agent, and she said, "Oh, this is something. Write as fast as you can." And I did, and within a year, we were back on sub, and that one sold within a week. So it was crazy, like at a 4-way auction, like going from I'm not ever gonna sell, this is never gonna happen to me, to holy crap, you just keep writing, and you never know what's gonna happen. And I thought it was going to be that second one, that I had that like Phoenix story from the first, but it was the third, and that's okay. And I think the biggest takeaway overall for that whole story and my own experience in this career is you're never running out of time. There's time. They're always going to be buying books. There's always going to be readers for you. There's space on the shelf for you. There's always time.
I'm going to have to like get out a expo marker or a Sharpie and like write that on my mirror and just like stare at it for a couple hours.
Yeah.
I specifically needed to hear that. So that was wonderful. Thank you so much for that.
I'm so glad. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm literally so sad to bring this interview to a close. It actually breaks my heart. But obviously we're here at LoveLikeCon right now. But
yes, that's why my voice sounds like this, to like address that finally.
Yeah. But since this episode will release in the future, tell our listeners in the future where they can find you, whether that's online, your website, or any other upcoming events you might have.
Yeah, so you can always find me on my website, evadelaurier.com. You can find me on Instagram, Eva De Books, and TikTok. And that's probably where I'm the most active. I also have a Substack, a newsletter under the same handle. And definitely keep an eye out because I have a couple of announcements coming up in the next few weeks. And also, there will be events in May. I'll be going to Bay Area Book Fest. I don't know when this will be out, but Bay Area Book Fest at the end of May. And my second book, I'm Gonna Get You Back, comes out May 19th. So I'll be doing a lot of events for that over the course of May and June.
That's so exciting.
Thank you.
There you have it. Thank you so much for tuning into Talk Wordy. And again, my special thanks to Eva De Lauriers for coming on the show
Thank
and
you
making
for
my
having
dreams
me.
come true.
You're the sweetest. This was lovely. Thank you.
Thank you. Don't forget to follow the podcast on Instagram at Talk Wordy Pod, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, you guys.